Hello everyone! So if you have watched me for more than maybe 5 minutes, then you will probably know that my favourite band of all time is a band called Placebo. You know, obviously, I don't make it clear enough. I feel like I've already gone on about this like a million times, but Placebo have been my favourite band since 2009 when their 6th album, Battle for the Sun, came out, and my friend at college bugged me to listen to them, and I was like, oh fine, I'll listen to them, and I have never looked back. I have seen them live 7 times, including the time that I got to interview them, which is up on my main channel, and I then got to watch them do like a really private performance where there was literally like maybe 5 or 6 people in the room, and I was one of them, and it's possibly the best thing that's ever happened, ever. As such, I have listened to every single song that Placebo have ever released. I'm talking B-sides, demos, every album, every single, every remix, everything. But I've never figured out what my favourite songs were. Like, I've never been able to list them. And so today I did exactly that. If you want spoilers, they are listed in the description. And also there is a link to the top 20 songs on Spotify as well. I made a little playlist so you can listen to them all from 20 to 1. Let's begin. You can always tell when I'm passionate about something, right? I'm just grinning, you know? I wish I was always this happy. So at number 20, we have Space Monkey. Now, Space Monkey is a song off of their 5th album, Meds, and it's probably one of the most out there songs that they've released. I often wonder what Brian was on when he wrote it, but I feel like it might be rude to ask him. The verses of Space Monkey are just really sexual. Like, not in a creepy kind of I'm getting off kind of way, but like, it's just got this sort of sexual vibe. The song is basically about being off your tits, I think. Or at least you can definitely tell that it was either written when someone was off their tits, or you're meant to listen to it whilst off your tits. I didn't realise that I loved it so much until it ended up on this top 20, but it is just one of their really, really strong songs. And back when it was first released, around like 2006, 2007, when they sang it live, Brian Molko, the singer, he would have a megaphone and he'd shout the verses through it, and it sounded so amazing. Look up Space Monkey live. It's great. At number 19, we have Exit Wounds, which is a song from Loud Like Love, which was released in 2013. Now, if you're already a Placebo fan, you'll know that there are basically like 2 categories of Placebo songs. The nice, chill, melancholic, peaceful songs, and then ones that are just really full. By full, I mean like really big guitars, and like the instrumentation is amazing. And Exit Wounds is one of those songs. Exit Wounds is a song about heartbreak and jealousy and still having like a sexual desire for someone that you're no longer with. It's basically a breakup song that's from a perspective that no one really explores, and the lyrics are great, the instrumentation is wonderful. It's a very, 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 very sad but very powerful song. And there are a lot of songs from Loud Like Love on this list, and I did not expect there to be so many. Actually, that's a lie. That's a complete lie. At number 18, we have Running Up That Hill. This is probably the most well-known Placebo song. It's actually a cover of a Kate Bush song, but this version has been used in commercials, it's been used in like TV show trailers. If you Google it, like, the chances are you'll recognize it the second that you start listening to it. I actually prefer this to the Kate Bush original, and I know that's like sacrilegious to a lot of people, but I just feel like Placebo gave this song a whole new meaning. It's slower, it's deeper, it's darker, and it's the piano in it is just so good, and the pulsing sort of like heartbeat beat is just, it's the best. It's obviously not the best because it's only number 18, but it is definitely a wonderful, wonderful version of a wonderful song. And number 17 is Pure Morning. I don't know if that will shock people. Pure Morning was one of the first Placebo songs I ever heard, but it was the first one that got me into Placebo. It's the first one that made me want to listen to their other stuff. Because when I first discovered them, I was kind of like, I don't know. And then I heard Pure Morning, and everything changed. Like, they completely grew on me. So I guess, like, if you want to get into Placebo, listen to Pure Morning. The reason it's so low on this list is simply because the song is kind of meaningless. This is something that Brian has touched upon in many, many interviews. For instance, they didn't play it live from the years of like 2004 until like this year when they started doing their 20-year anniversary tour. It's a song they pretty much refuse to play. And I get why. There are so many songs that are better. And actually, I think the reason that this is so high on my list is simply because of nostalgia. I tried very hard to not like put songs that are just tied to memories up so high. But this is a great song. Like if you listen to it in the car, like it's very chill. The instrumentation is great. The guitars are great. The lyrics just don't mean anything. But can I say, it was so satisfying to hear it live last month. It was so good. I finally got to hear it. At number 16, we have Song to Say Goodbye. This is the final track off of Meds, and it's a song that I never used to really care that much about until maybe like a couple of months ago when I just started listening to it again, and it was great. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's a very nice song. I don't know. I think it's just the chorus is just so urgent. I don't know how else to explain it. I think you'll understand when you hear it. The lyrics to me are about dealing with someone who has a lot of problems, whether it's like mentally or whether it's an addiction, and trying to deal with being around that person. Basically like trying to stop them from imploding. I don't know if that's actually what Brian had in mind when he wrote it, but that's what it means to me. And it's a very good end to a very good album. At number 15, we have Loud Like Love, which is the title track from their latest album. And it's so good. I was honestly shocked that this song was so far down in my top 20. I've heard like critics say that this song sounds kind of like uninspired and the lyrics are a little bit dreary. But to me, it's such a happy song. I'm a massive fan of fuller sounding songs, and this song is just so full. The instrumentation is great, and listen to it with headphones just makes you wanna know, alright, I'm gonna stop doing that because that's clearly not what Placebo intended when they wrote that. Just like the pre-chorus when the kick drum is just so prevalent. Oh, it's so, just go and listen to it. I love it. Number 14 is Special Needs. Special Needs is a song from the album Sleeping with Ghosts, and I think it's the only one in my top 20 from Sleeping with Ghosts, which is pretty shocking. I think it's a great album. I think this is primarily my top 20 simply because of the last chorus. There's this little bit of piano that's very low in the mix with a little bit of guitar, and they're playing the same note, and it's so beautiful to me. And I don't think many people really listen to it that deeply. You know, I love it for that, really. But the whole song is melancholic, but in a really nice way. This is just sound like I'm rambling now. Maybe I am. To me, the song is about being in love with someone that you can imagine the whole world falling in love with. Someone that is so bright and so charismatic and strong and wonderful that you feel like they're going to be adored by everyone, and being afraid of them forgetting you because you're plain and ordinary compared to them. You know, I don't know, that's just what I think, and it's just, the piano in it is very beautiful. Number 13 is For What It's Worth. For What It's Worth is from the album Battle for the Sun. For What It's Worth is so loud, and it's so big, and whenever I hear them play it live, it's so good. It's so heavy. I think the only real problem with Battle for the Sun as a whole is just that the mixing was just a little bit off. The guitars lost a lot of brilliance. They ended up very muddy, but it also made the song very, very, I don't want to say thick, because I don't know if anyone really understands what I mean by that, but like really heavy, really full, and it's a really, really, really good song. Obviously, that's why it's here. Let's move on. Number 12, we have Soulmates, which is actually a B-side during the Sleeping with Ghosts era. Soulmates is an alternative version to the song Sleeping with Ghosts, and I prefer the Soulmates version simply because the instrumentation is a lot better, in my opinion. When it gets to like that middle 8 bit, and it's just it gets so chaotic, and I can't keep saying that it's a really good song, can I? And number 11 is The Neverending Wire. This is another track from Battle for the Sun, and I remember when I first heard it and I heard the chorus and I was like, what is that line? Time will help you through, but it doesn't have the time to give you all the answers to the never-ending why. And it's, you know what? Like, I don't know how that sounds to me just saying it, but as a chorus, it works. And the little kind of like xylophone in it, just, it's such a dancey song. It's kind of like For What It's Worth in that it's just, The chorus just makes you want to dance around your room in the dark. I don't do that. And number 10 is B3. When I first heard this song, I was kind of like, I don't know. What's this chorus? I don't get it. But it instantly grew on me. Like, it's definitely one of my favorite songs. It's in my top 10, so it has to be one of my favorite songs. I don't really know what it is about this song that I like so much. I think it's mostly the second verse, but all of the instrumentation is great. And the chorus, like, I know I keep saying this, but the chorus is so big. The vocals are huge. The guitars are huge, especially the second chorus. It's so... Also, I just really like the lyrics in B3. I don't really know why. Just, they're very, very satisfying. Just, why don't you just go and listen to it and make up your own mind, right? Okay, so number 9 is where we start getting into the very recent Placebo. So number 9 is a song called Hold On To Me. This is from Loud Like Love, and it's so raw and it's so autobiographical. I feel like with a lot of earlier Placebo songs, Brian, when he wrote them, didn't like make them very autobiographical. He sort of put up a wall, wrote the songs, separated them from him and his growth as a person. And I feel like with the last 2 albums, Battle for the Sun and Loud Like Love, that wall has definitely come down. The songs are a lot more personal. Hold On To Me is just, it's about needing someone. At least to me it is. You know, I mean, all of this is just open to interpretation, but it's a very delicate song, and then when it breaks, you'll know the bit I'm talking about when you hear it, but when it breaks, it's so beautiful. And it goes into the spoken word about spirituality and different dimensions, and it's just mind-blowing. And when I first heard it, I was just in love with it. However, there are apparently like 8 other songs that I prefer, so let's find out what they are. And number 8 is a song called Bosco. This is such a painful song. It's so delicate. Like, it's like the most raw, soft song on this list. It's so vulnerable. And I think it's one of the reasons that maybe they don't tend to play it live. I think they've played it live once during MTV Unplugged. They haven't played it since. It's a piano-based track that deals with the topic of addiction, particularly alcoholism. Alcohol is something that Brian struggled with for a very, very long time. And just everything about the song was thought out so well, and it just gets bigger and bigger towards the end, and it's a masterpiece. It truly is a wonderful, beautiful song. I think I have cried to it before. And number 7 is Begin the End. Again, this is from Loud Like Love. So Bosco is also from Loud Like Love, and number 7 is also from Loud Like Love. I think we have a favourite album, maybe. I didn't realise that I loved this song so much. I didn't realise it would be this high. But it is just a perfect song. It's about a breakup. It's something that obviously I can really relate with. And the way it builds is just so empowering. You go from being really sad when you first hear it, like you've been betrayed, to suddenly like angry and just missing the relationship, but in a different way from the way you did at the start. It's a very, very beautiful song. The guitars, just wonderful. Wonderful stuff. And number 6 is 36 Degrees, the 2016 version. Now, back in like 2011, 2012, I covered the original version of 36 Degrees. The original version came out in like 1996, and it's very fast-paced. The guitars are very light, and the vocals are just kind of a little bit rushed, but I did a cover of it, and it was slower, and I realized in my head like how good the song could sound if it was slowed down. Now, obviously, I didn't come up with the idea for it, but when they re-released a new version this year on the compilation Place for Us to Dream, which is their greatest hits, it was everything I wanted from the song. It's suddenly a lot more delicate and emotional, and it's so much better in my opinion. The guitars in it, it's the guitars that make it. It's so gorgeous, and I urge you all to listen to it. Also, I'm going to leave a link to the cover that I did like 4-5 years ago to prove I did it. I don't know. At number 5, we have Battle for the Sun, which is the title track from their 6th album, Battle for the Sun. This song, I think, is up here because it's so personal to me. I know I said that I was going to try and avoid putting songs high up if they're just because of memories, but this song is my go-to emotionally. So basically, I've talked about this before, but I go through cycles of depression and then being ultra motivated and ultra positive. Both types of cycles can last months, and there is nothing more amazing than coming out of a depressive cycle and seeing the world for the beautiful place that it can be. Like seeing your existence as a wonderful thing, and like it almost makes the depressive cycle before it worth it. Not quite, but there's nothing better to me when I first come out of that darkness in my mind and I begin to enjoy living again. That sounds very emo, I don't care. The whole album, Battle for the Sun, is very much focused around the idea of, wallowing in addiction, depression, just being in a very dark place and then fighting to get better, fighting to see the light, battling for the sun, right? And the title track from that album is a very determined, empowering, strengthening, can't say the word strengthening. It's a very strengthening song. So I did it again. For me personally, I know when I'm coming out of a depressive cycle when I choose to put this song on. And that sounds silly, kind of like, oh, I'm going to listen to this and then I'll feel better. It's not like that. When I choose to listen to Battle for the Sun, the song, the album in full, it's like my brain has acknowledged, right, we've had our time of being incredibly unhappy. Now we need to get to work and we need to start living again. And it's the first Placebo album that I ever fell in love with. It's the first Placebo album that I ever listened to in full. And this song, to me, sums up the whole album. It's like a battle song. Like, I know it's called Battle for the Sun, but it's like if I was to march into battle during war, I would want to do it to that song. Does that sound cheesy? I don't know, maybe. But it's a song that by the end of it, you are so ready. You are so ready to just take on the day and do everything that you've been putting off for so long. Sorry, that was very long, but that is a very personal song to me. And it's very, very good. At number 4, we have Too Many Friends. Now, this song gets criticized a lot. This song gets a ton of shit. People don't like the lyrics. They don't like the simple rhyming. They see it as a very simple song that Placebo sort of settled on. I completely disagree. Musically, it's one of their best songs. I think that's why it's so high on the list, especially when it gets to that bridge. It's so good. The chugging guitars and the slight different chord change and then going straight back into the final chorus. It's wonderful. And it's one of those songs that whenever I hear it, I find myself harmonizing, ad-libbing, and just belting out. I'm sure my neighbors love Too Many Friends. They should do by now. Lyrically, it's a song about how we're just constantly stuck on our phones. I do it. You do it, we all do it. And I've actually recently started to have my phone in a different room overnight. And I'm using an actual alarm clock to wake up now. Because every morning I'd wake up, I'd turn the alarm off on my phone and then check Twitter and check Facebook and check YouTube, etc. And I'd just sit in bed for hours just on my phone like this, walking down the street like this. And the whole song is about how, yes, it's good that we're connected, of course it is, like we're able to keep in touch with friends that we haven't seen in years, but it's making us feel lonely. Have you ever done that where you're on your phone and then you sort of zone out and then you realize what you've been doing for the last 2 hours, just looking at a plastic and metal device, not talking, not seeing the world, not doing any actual work, just tapping. I do that quite a lot. Not everyone does, but I do. And the song is basically about that. It's very good, and every time I hear it, it just makes me want to turn my phone off and just put it far away. And number 3, we have Without You I'm Nothing from the album Without You I'm Nothing. This is a song that I used to always skip. Whenever I was listening to the album Without You I'm Nothing, I would just skip past this song because it just didn't do anything for me for ages and ages and ages. And it wasn't until very recently, I think maybe a couple of months after David Bowie passed away, that I thought, I'm going to just give it a chance, listen to it more often. And it's such a good song. I can't believe I used to skip it. It's definitely my favorite from that album. It doesn't matter whether you're listening to the one with David Bowie or not. I'd recommend the one with Bowie, but either is wonderful. It's a very slow, draining song, but towards the end, the guitars build a little bit. You got a little lead guitar, and the vocals get bigger, and it's a song about despair and needing someone and being really, really low, but it's a beautiful work of art, and I don't know what else I can say about it other than just the song is so important as well. Like, this is a song that David Bowie heard and went, I want to be on this track with you. And they'd written it before David Bowie got involved with it, but if it wasn't for Bowie, Placebo wouldn't be who they are and where they are now. And I was never really a massive David Bowie fan, I'll be completely honest. Not my kind of music. However, I can respect that the dude was a fucking legend. And he is a hero to my heroes. And being able to hear something that Placebo did with Bowie, 2 different generations of legend together, it's a beautiful song. So in at number 2, and this is technically my number 1, because this is like the top album track with lyrics and a song that was intended to be released as an actual main song. I don't know if I'm making much sense. I'll explain more about that in a second when we get to number 1. But at number 2, we have A Million Little Pieces from Loud Like Love. Again, it was one of those songs that I didn't realize that I loved so much. I knew that I loved it from the second that I first heard it. I remember being on tour with some guys, maybe like a couple of months after this album was released, and I remember playing this song to them in the van and playing the middle 8-bit over and over and over, because I was just like, listen to that piano, listen to it, and everyone in the van was just like, okay, we get it, you like this song. The song, just like Hold On To Me, is very autobiographical. It's sort of just about growing as a person, having regrets, worrying that you're not the person that you thought you would be at the age that you are. I don't know, that's what it means to me anyway. And it's just, I think, lyrically and musically, that's why this song is so high, because it's like a perfect mix of old Placebo and new Placebo, delicate Placebo, full heavy band Placebo, mixed together, and it's, to me, like the perfect Placebo song. Fun fact, when I met them in 2013, a day after the album came out, I was speaking to Brian. I dropped a name. I was speaking to him, and I said my favourite is probably A Million Little Pieces, and he said, I think that's my favourite too. So there's a little tidbit that you didn't need to know. Tidbit. It's not a tidbit, it's a tidbit. Tidbit. Okay, so we're at number 1. This one, I was really unsure whether to count it or not, but ultimately this is my favourite Placebo song, and also my favourite song of all time, because it's so personal to me. Like, I could not include it. It had to go at number 1. The song is called HK Farewell, and it was originally a bonus track off of their first album, which was self-titled. Back when music was released on cassettes, you know, the last track would finish and then you'd wait like a minute and then there'd be a bonus track. Well, I remember downloading the MP3s of all of the albums, legally, mind you, and forgetting that there would be a bonus track at the end of Swallow, which is the last track on Placebo's self-titled album. And suddenly I remember like the exact moment where I was when these muted kind of drums kicked in and faded in, and then this open, vulnerable guitar came in, and I just stopped everything that I was doing. You know how like some people say like, oh, this song just speaks to me, man, and you're just like, okay, all right. The song spoke to me. Like, it's a 7.5 minute instrumental of just guitar, piano, and drums, and it's quite repetitive, and it's quite simple. It's very simple, but the song spoke to my soul, and that's a very cheesy thing to say. It's very cliche, I know, but when you have a song that does speak to you, you'll know. Like, you'll just know. So basically, this song, my brain now associates this song with change, and I'll explain why. So basically, When I first heard it, I knew it was something special to me. I knew that this was going to be a song that was going to be different to every other song in the world. And I therefore reserved it only for times where I felt like my life had changed. Something important had happened. And whenever something important did happen, I would put on my headphones, go away for 7.5 minutes and listen to the song and just think about the future. Think about where I am. Think about what just happened. And I don't listen to it outside of those moments. I make a very, very strict point. Like if I catch myself accidentally hearing it because it's like gone on, I will instantly pause it and turn it off. My brain only associates this song with important moments in my life. I've made it that way and I'm keeping it that way. Obviously, this song isn't going to mean that to everyone else, so go ahead and listen to it if you will. But this song is my favourite song in the world. It's a song that I will have playing when I sadly die. It will be my funeral song. It's just, I don't know what it is about it, but it's so... like there is not a word for how the song affects me. So I had to put it as number one. If we're not counting that, like bonus track, then obviously A Million Little Pieces would be number one. But HK Farewell did something to me the first time I heard it, and I listen to it when big things in my life happen, good or bad. Bad things could happen. I could be terrified, and I'll listen to it because I associate it with change. It is my song. So I hope that you enjoyed my list. I don't know if number one might have confused a few of you or made you feel a bit weird about me, but I hope you go away and listen to the playlist that I put in the description below. I just love Placebo so much, and I hope to God that there is an 8th album coming. I hope so. I guess you never know. Are these the tracks that I would tell you to go away and listen to if you want to get into Placebo? Possibly not. I'm not sure. But I know for a fact that these are officially now my top 20 Placebo songs of all time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you did. And if you want me to do any more sort of like top 20 like songs from bands that I really, really love, like the White Stripes or 9 Inch Nails, Blink-182 or whatever, then I will do them. So thank you very much for watching, and we come in peace. That's what Placebo say, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm done. Bye.